The world is full of booby traps at each and every corner that are ready to take away your masculine power. Just take a look at every famous Netflix movie or shows that is being promoted, or have a look at the type of individuals that are being put on a pedestal these days. Nothing escapes the mind control agenda of the elites. Men are being brainwashed into accepting weakness. There's a very famous story about a lion that I want you to hear. Once upon a time, there was a fierce lion who was feared by all. One day, the lion falls in love with the daughter of the farmer. But here's the thing. The farmer hated that lion, and when he heard that the lion fell in love with his daughter, he wanted to do anything he could to stop that lion. So the sneaky farmer calls the lion and tells him that he will only allow him to marry his daughter on one condition. And that is to remove your sharp claws for the safety of his daughter. The lion thought, well, it's just a small price for such a big reward I will get, so why not? The lion goes, hits his claws against the rock, and breaks them off. The next day, he goes to the farmer and tells him, I don't have sharp claws anymore. Now give me your daughter's hand in marriage. But the sneaky farmer tells him to do one last thing, and that is to remove his sharp teeth and fangs. The lion agrees to this condition as well, and breaks off his sharp fangs. But when the lion goes to the farmer the next day, the farmer attacks the lion and kills him. This time the lion had no sharp claws or teeth to defend himself. Everything that gave the lion his strength, he chose to voluntarily give away one by one. Remember, brothers, the world you live in today is no different. There are much bigger forces at play that have carefully designed the matrix to keep you a slave to your desires and urges. And here's the harsh truth. You could blame the farmer or the elites all you want, but it was the lion at the end of the day who chose voluntarily to obey them. Strength is the virtue that all men ought to abide by, whether it be in your professional, financial, or romantic life. Every man naturally have the desire to feel dominant, strong, and powerful, because that is who you are. All men desire a strong sense of drive. A lot of us don't have it because we indulge in behaviors that keep us from becoming the strong men we were intended to be. Nowadays, men gripe and whine about everything, spend a lot of money on drugs and prawn, and even apologize to others for things that don't call for it. With that said, let's look at the 7 things and habits that make men weak. Number 1. Making fun of other people. This is a point that not many people talk about, but as a high-value man you never look down on others. You may have heard the example of the crab's bucket. When a crab is about to escape the bucket, others will pull it back down. If you find yourself making fun of others, then remember this. You are below them. Period. Of course, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't correct someone for their mistake, but don't make a joke out of it. As a man, you need to teach and guide your fellow brothers without any grudge or hidden strings. Remember, strong and self-assured men don't belittle others. Instead, they are there to support and uplift them. This point might seem like a very obvious one, but is very much needed, especially in today's generation. Listen to what Mike Tyson says about this. Social media has made you way too comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. Number 2. Failure to accept responsibility. Going back to the story of the lion and the farmer's daughter, the greatest reason why the lion loses it all at the end comes down to him not being aware of his responsibility. His responsibility was to live as a lion. His fangs and sharp claws were a part of what made him a lion, but he forgot that responsibility and chose to give it all away. Same is true to your life. Uphold your responsibilities with pride. I want you to say it with me. I will uphold my responsibilities with pride, for they are what make me a man. The day you choose to escape your responsibilities is the day you choose to escape manhood altogether. I want you to memorize this quote off by heart. The price of greatness is responsibility. Listen to that again. The price of greatness is responsibility. Number 3. Running from failure. This one is a tough one. In our world today, most men will always choose comfort over growth. Remember, growth is painful and oftentimes lies behind failure. There's that famous example of the man who goes to dig for diamonds. He doesn't know how far below the surface the diamond is, yet he continues to dig and dig. At the start, every time he digs, he sees only more dirt. He digs more, and more dirt comes up yet again. But after a few hours or even days, he gets what he wanted. So remember, brothers, failure is not the end of it. If that's the mentality you have, then rest be assured, you will never succeed in anything. Just think about anything worth having. Let's say you start a business. At the start, you might need to go through so many so-called failures while you attempt to learn the business and land your customers. But only when you stay in the game long enough and don't try to run from those temporary failures do you see yourself grow. Same with women. At the start, when you make those approaches, you might come across as a creepy grown man who doesn't know how to interact. But your success lies behind those temporary failures. This is a small price a strong man needs to pay for success. We are frequently trained as children to feel ashamed of our mistakes and failures, to try and justify for them by blaming it on another culprit. You might have said, "Oh, it's not my fault," or "this person is to blame." These are the thoughts of a loser. I want you to hear this quote and write it down somewhere if you want. It is a weak man who blames his failure on the strength of others. Number 4. Submitting to futile laws too easily. Want to know the difference between a coward and a high-value man? Simple. The coward will always side with majority, even if what they are saying is clearly wrong. And what's worse is that the coward will expect the high-value man to also submit to these evil and futile laws and regulations. A high-value man always inspects and judges everything before choosing to follow it. In the world today, we have been so brainwashed into the mentality that you shouldn't judge, or you shouldn't do this or that. It has gotten so out of hands that you are a mere puppet and lab rat at this point, who will submit to all the agendas and laws they make. There's nothing wrong with obeying, but only obey what aligns with your purpose, mission, and above all the law of God. Nothing is beyond the law of the Almighty. Ask yourself, are you someone who is easily intimidated? Do you try to please everyone? It can be incredibly difficult for some men to learn how to say no. But if you act on the truth for the first time, you'll understand that the world won't crash down around you. I have seen so many men live a scared life in marriage, like their wife is some type of a tyrant. They dare not speak up or correct her. This too is a prime example of futile submission. Number 5. You've got weak body language. The concept of body language is so important. It includes nonverbal cues like a handshake, eye contact, how you sit or walk, and how you move your body when chatting and hanging out with others. People can tell if you are a strong or a weak man by your body language. It makes me laugh, but their agendas have also come against a strong body language. They make up so-called terms like man-spreading to break down your masculine body language. Of course, this doesn't mean that you should start doing splits and make a 180-degree straight line with your legs. But simply put, be intentional with your body and hold a masculine frame. Remember, your body language is easily the first and easiest way to stop someone from taking advantage of you. Number 6. Killing your young days. We always discuss the importance of your young days on this channel. Your 20s and even 30s to some extent are what you call the golden days. These are the days when you ought to build, and build. Think about a farmer who plants a seed. He doesn't demand that seed to give him fruits the next day. In the same way, your 20s are the days when you need to plant seeds. You need to plant spiritual, emotional, and physical seeds that will help you grow. But here's the most important part. Don't expect to enjoy these fruits just yet. Just keep planting. Before you know it, you would have planted forests and jungles that attract the right type of life. By planting, I mean push yourself. This doesn't mean that you need to hustle and hustle 24/7. But always keep in mind that these are the days when you have the most energy and the opportunity to take on the greatest risk. Use it to your advantage. Especially when you are young, You may feel like you are missing out on that hookup culture by investing in yourself, but resist the urge. You may not understand it now, but as you mature and grow older, you will thank yourself for not getting distracted. Listen to what the wisest man on earth has to say about your young days. These are the words of King Solomon. You who are young, be happy while you are young, and let your heart give you joy in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart, and whatever your eyes see, but know that for all these things God will bring you into judgment. Number 7. Being lazy and unproductive with your time. What time do you go to bed? And what time do you wake up? How is your day structured? What do you do when you get back from work? These are all questions you need to take seriously. Don't think of them as some side quest you may think about when you are free. As a man who wants to push himself to success in each area, you need to carefully craft your day. Think about why the elites are so successful in building out the matrix. Because each aspect and area has been carefully thought through. In the same way, think through each part of your day. The types of people you are hanging around with, the type of content you are consuming. If you don't have these right type of thoughts in your mind, then rest be assured you have given open access to the matrix to penetrate you. One of the greatest ways the matrix keeps you weak is by making you lazy. Period. Laziness is the biggest killer of men today. As a man, you may have so many business or life-related thoughts, yet you never take action on them. If you let it, laziness will steadily ingrain itself into you without your knowledge. It will devour you and prevent you from moving forward with your life in a productive manner. Always remember, brothers, laziness only has a chance against weak men. Why? Because a man of high worth quickly learns to spot it and correct it. Always be conscious of laziness and fight it off as soon as possible. So remember, brothers, weakness is the virtue of the modern society. Weakness is what they pursue. But strength is your greatest virtue. Pursue strength at each turn, and remember, God is your greatest strength. By the way, don't forget to show some love. Tap that subscribe button and hit like for the algorithm. To see the next best way to level up as a man, watch these videos here.